Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a 15-minute mat Pilates workout that is beginner friendly. All you'll need is your mat and yourself. Just know that you can pause this workout at any time, but when you're ready, grab your water and head down to your mat. So let's get started. So we're just going to start by lying down. You're going to bring yourself down onto your spine. Feet are going to be flat on your mat and your arms are going to be down by your side. Palms can be facing the floor. So we want the fingertips nice and long, relax the feet. From here, we want to find our neutral spine. So I always recommend doing some pelvic rocks and tilts. So we want to keep the tailbone pinned to your mat. And I can just lift my arms so that you can see, but essentially we're rocking the pelvis up and down. So by sticking your tailbone down, you're gonna pop the rib cage and arch your spine as dramatically as you can. And then you're gonna tuck your tailbone and flatten your spine on your mat. So you wanna feel the back completely touching your mat. And you're gonna continue to do these, I would say about between 3 and 5, making sure that you are really opening up the ribs and then really pushing that tailbone down. So you're kind of rocking the hips forward and back. Now, once you feel comfortable and you've gotten enough of the tilting, you can settle somewhere in the middle that feels comfortable, and that would be your neutral spine. So we want to feel a little bit of space underneath the low back, and there's no engagement going on. The next thing we want to do is engage our core. So once we found our neutral spine, we want to bring the ribs and hips together. So imagine like a zipper underneath your belly button. Instead of sucking in your core, I like to say zip up the spine, or zip up the tummy rather, from bottom to top. You're going to feel this coming together of your ribs and hips, and you're going to feel that core pop on. So right away, without moving your spine in your neutral, the core should be on. Once you've got that, bringing the hands back to your side, rolling the shoulders back. Give me a big inhale here through the nose. As you exhale, you're gonna push through the feet, push through the hands, and lift your hips up. We're going into a bridge series here, just warming up the hips. You're gonna inhale and tap the bum down. Okay, so as you exhale, just push through the hands and the feet, and you're gonna lift the hips up. These bridges, we want to make sure that the back stays flat, so we're just essentially lifting and lowering the hips, keeping the neck nice and relaxed. Head is dropped to your mat. Inhale, just tap the bum down. So really grounding yourself here through the feet, through the arms. We're going to go for another 4 here. Nice loud breaths through the mouth. And if the coordination of the breath is too much, you can always remove it and just breathe at a pace that works for you. And then as you get more comfortable, feel free to add in that breath. At the actual movement, the force of the movement is when we traditionally like to do the exhaling. As you're inhaling is when we want to tap the bum down or releasing the movement. On your next one here, hold your hips up nice and high. Good. Option to lift the arms up overhead to challenge your core. We're going to lift the heels up and drop the heels down, lower the bum, tap the tailbone. Exhale, we lift and hold. Good, broadening the shoulders, lift the heels, lower the heels, we drop back down. Good, we're gonna continue here. Now, what happens sometimes with the arms is we forget about them. If we're not holding any weights per se, sometimes they just like to sink down towards the floor. So when that happens, we just wanna notice it. It's nothing too bad. We just wanna make sure that they don't start to sag towards the floor. So imagine somebody is pulling you from your fingertips up towards the sky. We're gonna go for 2 more here and just hold the hips at the top. As you're going into these bridges, continue to tuck that tailbone. Let's bring the hips up even higher on your next one. Hold it here. Just those heels lifting up and drop it down. Exhale to lift. Inhale to tap. We want to keep the hips at the same level here, nice and square, gazing up towards the ceiling. Let's go for another 5 here, and we're going to hold the heels lifted. Good. In 3, we reach those heels up nice and high. 2, finding the balls of the feet. Last one, hold the heels high. Good. Can we pulse the glutes? A little down, a little up. If this becomes too much with the arms lifted, you find it hard to balance, drop the hands by your side. Keep them nice and elongated. We're going to go for another 5. Good. Exhale to pulse. 4. Nice. 3. Hold it up in 2. Last one here, hold. Good. Drop the heels and let's roll through the spine. back down to your mat. Okay, instead of just lifting the hips, I want us to find some articulation with your spine. So we're gonna go into a hip roll. From here, big inhale, find your neutral spine. Zip up the core. As you exhale, imprint the spine by tucking your tailbone, finding that pelvic tilt, and let's roll through the spine up to your bridge. As you're inhaling, we're gonna really push the belly down towards our mat, trying to round our spine. The tailbone hits your mat last. Now I've got really terrible flexion in my spine, so I'm trying to dramatize this as much as possible. I'm not the best example for flexion, but hopefully these cues are helping. This is different from our hip lifts that we were just doing because we're not just picking up the hips in one piece. We're actually melting down and lifting the spine one bone at a time. So actually the slower the better on this exercise. You want to feel each bone lifting up and melting down at separate times, okay? We're gonna go for another 5 here. So finding your own pace. So really finding that mind-muscle connection, I really find it useful for this exercise because we're concentrating on the spine coming down at separate times. It's actually can be quite challenging. Even for someone that is advanced, it's always good to come back to the basics here. Let's go for another 2 here, really squeezing the glutes at the top and bringing the arms or the legs back down. Let's go for 1 more here. Exhale, tuck your tailbone, lift the hips. Good. From here, we're gonna go back to lifting those heels and lower the heels. Good. Exhale to lift, inhale to tap. We're gonna go for 7 here. This is really starting to feel nice and toasty in the hamstrings. Again, noticing any tension that's happening in your neck and shoulders. Drop the shoulders down, anchor them to your mat. We're gonna go for 4 here. Hold the heels high. In 3, we hold. Reaching those fingertips high, 2. On your next one, let's hold the heels high. Good. Let's sweep the arms overhead, biceps frame the ears. And then you're gonna windmill those arms up and over. Let's frame the hips, hovering over your mat. Option to drop the heels if it becomes too much. We really want to maintain the height of the hips here. Now we're starting to warm up those arms. Good. So obviously your challenge here is keeping those heels lifted and then lower those arms back down. Nice. Continue to reach those fingertips. You're going into one plane of motion here, up and over. Like a semicircle, up and over towards the back of your head. Let's go for 4 here. And if you can't quite get to the biceps, that's okay. Just find the maximum range that works for your body without compromising your form. Let's go for 2 here. Inhale to sweep back. Exhale to come up and over. Last one here. Inhale, send the arms back. Exhale, let's bring the arms down by our hips and let's pulse the glutes. Heels can be up or down for this one for 8, 7. We're gonna rest in 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop the hands, roll the spine back down, and windshield wiper those legs. Nice job. Okay, so hopefully the glutes and the lower body are feeling a little bit toasty. We're gonna stay on our back and work on some core activation here, core concentrated exercises. So we're gonna bring the arms back down to our sides. Finding your neutral spine again, you can go into some pelvic tilts if you need to, just to bring yourself back to that. And then again, zipping up the core, feel the coming together of ribs and hips. When we're ready and we feel good, we're gonna bring one leg up to tabletop 90 degrees. And then the other leg. From here, we're going to bring our hands behind our head. Elbows are wide. Let the head sit heavy in the hands. Big inhale, engage and hold. Exhale, ab curl. You're going to lift the head, neck, and shoulders up. Gaze looks past the knees. You're lowering down. Exhale to come up. Inhale to come down. Good. Now this is your first mat Pilates class. You might feel better to have the feet flat on the floor instead. If you want to advance today, or you've done mat Pilates for a little bit, you've got some foundations, you're more than welcome to bring the legs to tabletop. On these ab curls, we want to make sure we're not leading with the head, okay, or the neck. We want to make sure that we're not tucking the chin towards the chest because really nothing is going on in our core. So to kind of get rid of that pattern, we want to continue to let the head rest heavy in our hands so that we're letting the torso do the work here. So by lifting up, we want to go a little head nod, but nothing crazy, just to lead that flexion. Push the belly towards your mat to initiate the round back, lifting the shoulder blades up and away from your mat. Okay, we're going to go for another 6 here. We're going to hold at the top. Try to keep the legs together if you're in tabletop. Elbows are staying wide so that they don't come closer towards your head to crouch it. We're going to go for 3 here. Exhale, 2. Inhale, come down. On your next one, hold yourself up high. Good. Little hold here for 5, for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower head, neck, and shoulders, and bring the feet down. Take a split second rest here. The legs are gonna come back to tabletop. Okay, when you're ready, neutral spine, engage the core, bring the legs to 90. We're gonna lift our head, neck, and shoulders, finding that ab curl. And as you exhale, we're gonna tap the toes down, right side. Bring it back to 90, lower head, neck, and shoulders. We're gonna alternate here. As you exhale, come up, tap the toes, reach to 90, inhale, come down. Exhale to lift. Inhale, we tap. Exhale, 90. Inhale, coming down. Now your modification, if you want it, you're gonna lift your head, neck, and shoulders up, finding your ab curl. Leg comes to 90. We drop the foot and we lower down. Both of these are just as challenging. One just might feel a bit more supportive than the other. It doesn't mean that you're doing less work, okay? I find that even dropping the feet down, I have a lot more control of what's going on with my core because I can focus on that rather than focusing on keeping my legs up. So there's nothing wrong with any position that you choose to move in. Movement is movement. We're gonna go for another 4 here total. So 2 per side. Exhale to come up. Tap the toes. Inhale up. Exhale, everything comes down. We're gonna go for 3 here. Staying with a nice pace of breath. 2 more total. On your next one, we're gonna finish this off. And we're gonna bring that right leg back to 90. So I'll find your ab curl here. We're gonna hold. Right leg goes back to tabletop, just that right toe tap. You can do this in tabletop as well. That left leg will be high and you're just toe tapping that right foot. We're gonna go for another 5. So the farther you reach in those toe taps, the harder it's gonna be for your core. If you need more supportive, you're gonna bring the toes closer to your bum. Last 2. Good, last one. Bring that right leg to 90. Hold your ab curl, right foot comes down, left leg up. Good, engage if you need to, recess. Just that left side. Inhale to tap the toes, exhale back to tabletop. Noticing that neck, it's gonna start to hold some tension, making sure that you take a second, reset, drop your head down in the hands. That's why they're there to support you. Last 3. Exhale, let's get up a little bit higher. 2. On your next one, we hold it for a split second, drop the left foot, and drop yourself down. Whew. Okay, a little tappy tap on those abs, good work. Give me a little stretch if you need to, extend the arms, extend the legs, really pop the rib cage a little bit, arching the spine so that the tummy faces the ceiling. You can stretch out your core this way. Okay, super. Let's do a quick little arm series and then we're pretty much done. So when you're ready, you can come up, roll to one side, or sitting up onto your knees. You can also do this cross-legged. So I'm just gonna come on my knees here. You don't need weights for this, but if you want, you could also have ankle weights if you wanna add a little bit of extra weight, but trust me, this is gonna be just good by doing it body weight. Okay. So from here, we're gonna bring our arms up to a nice 90-degree shape. So cactus or goalpost, some people call it that. You're gonna start by pressing those arms up. And inhale, you're gonna release back to that 90. Good. So with these, because they're body weight, you don't wanna rush these reps. The slower, the better. We want slow and controlled movements here so we can really feel what's going on in our bodies. So as you're exhaling, you're really trying to get those fingertips nice and high, getting those biceps to frame the ears. Now, if you've got really tight shoulders or if you've got, posture that you're trying to work on and you can't quite get that full range, totally good. Just keep the shoulders nice and dropped. You can also reach your arms on a diagonal this way and then come back. So as long as you're still finding that reaching position, I find it's better than you getting frustrated by trying to reach your arms up here. It's just gonna aggravate those shoulders. And then over time, you're gonna work back up, hopefully, to get the arms to frame the ears. So we're gonna go for another 5 here. We're gonna come back to that cactus shape and we're gonna reach our arms out to a T position. Okay, you're doing great. In 3, we come back to 90, 2, and last one here. Hold that 90-degree shape, palms are open. Open the arms to T, back to 90. Stay with those arms. They're gonna stay nice and high here, preferably at the height of your shoulders. That's where you're gonna feel that burn. And fingertips are spread nice and wide apart. Let's roll the shoulders down and back. Good. Feel the lats engage by broadening your shoulders. We're gonna go for another 8 here. Good. 7. We're gonna hold that T of the arms in 5. 4. Nice breathing. Keep it up. 3. Hold that T shape in 2. Last one. Hold your T shape. Good. We're gonna close the arms and we're gonna open. Like you're giving a nice clap, but you're not actually gonna clap unless you really want to. Good, and then you're gonna open up. So now we're working a little bit of pecs here, those chest muscles right in through here. So we wanna act like we're going in for that clap. So by engaging those pecs, we're gonna resist the urge to fully tap the hands together. Exhale, squeeze to that hover. Inhale to open back up to your T. So when you open up, palms are gonna face forward. Exhale to close. Good, we're gonna go for another 6 here. And we're gonna hold in the center. Arms are barely touching. We're gonna pulse those arms out and in. Last 3 here. I'm already feeling it. Last 2. On your next one, hold that closed shape. Little pulses out and in, out and in for 8, 7, good, 6. I'm gonna turn to the side. We're gonna go for triceps in 4, 3, try to keep those arms up from here. You're gonna bend those elbows. I'm gonna turn to the side. We're gonna come into a hinged position here. So chest is falling forward slightly. Pull those elbows to your ribs. Palms face each other. We're gonna extend the arms back for triceps and we're gonna bend in. Gaze is gonna look down and forward to the top of your mat. Okay, and we're gonna avoid sinking or arching into that back. So we wanna keep the tailbone from pointing upwards, and you're gonna engage thinking about that imprinted motion by flattening out your spine, tuck that tailbone. So as you exhale, try to squeeze those arms, feel the triceps shortening on that extension, really flex them. Inhale, you're gonna bend those arms. Let's go for 5 here. We're gonna hold those arms back in 4, dropping those shoulders. Good, 3. If it feels too much with that hinge, you can always bring those arms directly behind you with a flat spine. Your arms might just drag across your mat. Last 2. And last one, hold those arms back. We're gonna pulse up and down for 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold it here, hold, arms pulse in and out for 8, 7, good, 6, last 5, good, 4, done in 3, last 2, and 1. Whew, okay, roll out those shoulders. We're gonna do a quick little stretchy stretch. Got all those muscle groups working, and that's pretty much it. So we'll do a couple stretches to finish off. You can just drag one arm across the body and send the opposite arm in front, give it a nice bend. Drop those shoulders so that they're level and give them a nice big stretch. So that arm that's bent, we wanna push towards that straight arm. So you feel it right in the shoulder as opposed to just rotating. And then we're gonna go to the other side here. Ooh, nice little crack. Good, so same thing, dropping those shoulders, avoid over rotating. We wanna push that bent arm towards us. Good, last breath here. And then we're gonna go into triceps. Let's take that same arm. We're gonna bend it behind the head. Good, I always like to include the option of a little side bend. I just find this feels so good. So you can always pull in towards the body of that front arm. So I'm pulling towards my left side here, and I'm gonna come all the way up. And we're gonna go to the other side. Another little crack, up and over, stretching out the left side of my body. Good, coming all the way back up here. All right, our last one here. We're just gonna come down onto our back again. Last big stretch here. So you can let your feet fall, legs are nice and long, arms are by your sides, palms are facing up. Give your arms and your ankles a nice little stretch, roll them out. Dropping the shoulder blades to your mat. Option to close your eyes, reverse those circles up your wrists and ankles. 2 and 1. Good. Let's put one hand on the heart and one hand on the belly. Big inhale here, let the rib cage expand. Exhale, let it all out. Let the rib cage fall. One more time here. Exhale, let it all out. Good, let's bring the legs together, intertwine your fingers, send the arms overhead, flip your palms to face away from the body. Big, big stretch here. This is your last one. Thank your body for moving with me today. I hope you enjoyed your workout. Exhale, let everything go, and you can roll to one side and come on up. I really hope you enjoyed this workout. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up so that I know that you liked it. If you have any content that you want to see, any other classes or muscle groups that you'd like, maybe different levels, let me know and I'd be happy to include them. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye.